Hey everybody, this is my 1 month on tea vlog celebration. Yay, I'm super excited. By the way, this is my fourth attempt at recording this video. I don't know how people do this. Like, I'm learning. It's hard, mostly due to technological error, like me thinking I started recording and then didn't. Great. Anyway, let's get into it. So, 1 month on tea changes. I'm just going to give an overview, even though I've gone over some of this stuff in my other videos. Voice definitely dropped. I am not sure if what you're hearing now is the legitimate voice drop or is some of my lingering illness. We have been sick on and off in my family for the entire time that I've been on tea. So some of the stuff that I'm feeling, I don't even know if it's tea. I don't know how I would feel on tea if I was healthy. It's all very confusing. That being said, in general, my voice did drop, and I'm just not sure exactly where. It sounds a little more gravelly, I think, than it should at this point in time. And honestly, like it should ever. Like my partner, who's a cis man, his voice is all messed up too, right? So, what else have I experienced? Head clarity and calmness, less anxiety. For me, this is manifesting as like I had a very noisy internal landscape. I didn't necessarily worry about things all the time. Like that's not part of my personality per se. However, just a lot of internal multitasking, overthinking, ruminating on stuff to like a ridiculous degree. It just evaporated like overnight. And the way I describe it to the few people who know that I'm on tea is it feels like I went on an anti-anxiety med. However, I've never been on meds for any mental health stuff ever in my life. So I can't even say like what that would feel like, but it feels like a successful anti-anxiety med experience, except that I just went on testosterone. So totally weird. I know people have shared similar sentiments when starting testosterone in the past, but experiencing it firsthand is definitely really cool. Um, Also, my emotions, which have ebbed and flowed a lot with my menstrual, I don't even like saying it. I don't even know how to say it in a way that doesn't cause me like to cringe. My cycle, the emotional like roller coaster of that every month seems to have greatly decreased. I know that my body is still like operating with those hormones in the background, so I do think some of that still happens, but yeah, just like much happier and much calmer and a very level baseline. Whereas before it just felt like this roller coaster of like bad days and good days. And it had absolutely nothing to do with what I was experiencing in my real life. And like that was the kicker for me. I was like, my life is amazing. I'm a generally happy person. Like, yes, it's hard to be a parent, but there's no reason I should feel this bad on this particular day and then all of a sudden feel amazing the next day. Like to me, that was like a hormonal me being sensitive to my own body's hormones, and like I hated it. It was awful. Um, I will say too that sometimes people might be like, you've been dealing, I'm in my mid to upper 30s, like you've been dealing with this for this long. Why would you wait so long to act on something like that? Um, and one thing I will say is having been a really competitive athlete, my BMI has been pretty low. And I do think that after having a kid and greatly reducing my amount of physical activity just because of lifestyle and my capacity, the energy I have to put towards it, the time, etc., is far less. My BMI didn't go up a lot, but like my periods have been way worse post kid than they were ever in my life before. And so, whatever it is, my own biology, my own genetics, I just didn't feel the problem as viscerally as I do now. This is the same thing with my chest. My chest has been small my whole life. I have hated it my entire life. But you know what? It's been very, very small. And I was like, everybody feels like this. Thank goodness I have a small chest. I exercise a lot. Like I keep my BMI low, um, potentially to an unhealthy degree, but that's been dealt with. Anyway, have a post kid, my chest has never gone back to the size it was before, and it's excruciatingly dysphoric. Like I can't even think about it. So Anyway, that is why something that seemingly I should have been feeling my entire life has really kicked up in intensity in the last several years since I had a kid. Let's get back to what I've been feeling on T. Month one, bottom growth, way more significant than I could have ever imagined and making me way more euphoric than I could have ever imagined. We'll leave it at that for now. I'm feeling physically stronger on runs, but not in the gym, and that's okay. I've been taking my gym work very progressive, pretty slow. I don't think I've even hit 6 months at the gym yet, and I've made so much progress. Like, I'm so proud of myself. My muscle, like, I have muscles in places that I didn't even know. I can like tell where my chest is muscle versus where it's other chest bits, and that is extremely euphoric for me to feel that like that muscle is real. Because before I started working out, I was like, I don't think I couldn't even like activate my chest muscles. I couldn't tell you where they even were. So yeah, really excited about that. I have had a little bit of increase in fatigue, and I attribute this to just building more muscle and the fact that I don't get the best sleep, and that's fine. But your body, when you go on T and you start building muscle at a rapid rate, especially, um, you know, if you are working out, that's fatiguing and hard on your body. So people who talk about having energy boosts, which I totally think is legit and valid, I don't know how much they work out, and everybody's body is different. For me, I would have been almost more confused if I had all that energy and was able to do all that working out. I mean, like, that's just not sustainable. Like, it's sustainable in like a personal utopia situation, but like, to me in reality, like, you work out, you build muscle, your body needs to rest and recover. So um, I am not worried at all about a slight increase in fatigue or that being like a bad sign for me. I have noticed myself sweating a little bit more at the gym, but like in day-to-day life, not so much. It's the cold season now though. Woohoo for like sweaters and stuff like that. I'm excited. But yeah, I haven't noticed a huge increase in the sweating. I have noticed my face a little bit more oily. And so far, the acne has not kicked in, I don't think, because it has been more than I had before. But hang on one second. It could be a lot worse. I anticipate it getting significantly worse. So we'll just see. Um, Things I have not felt that sometimes people either anticipate feeling or just are waiting for or whatever. I have not been more angry. I already talked about the emotional stability I feel when I do feel anger rise, which of course I do. I did before. I continue to do that. It's actually easier to control. Like, it's easier to say like, I am okay still. I don't have to stay angry. I can move past this moment. It isn't that big of a deal. That's an awesome feeling. And I have not noticed an increase in body hair yet. I'm particularly conscious of it on my upper thighs, and I'm like dying for a happy trail. So I have not noticed any of that yet. That's okay. I haven't really noticed a change in like body odor yet. Some people talk about getting super stinky right away. As an athlete, like, again, I've never been under the impression that I'm someone who doesn't sweat or doesn't smell bad if I don't like practice good hygiene. So this could just be one of those, like, I actually am smelling worse, but I haven't really noticed. Who knows? Uh, yeah, I already talked about not much acne. I haven't noticed any hair loss. I have really thick hair, and I've been keeping it pretty short because that just feels more masculine and good to me at the moment. And in the shower, I keep expecting to see a lot more like coming out. I used to have very long hair, and I would brush it, and I would tell my partner, like, I don't know how there's still hair in my head. So much is falling out when I brush it. So I'm not sure what's going on with my hair because it feels like a lot less is actually coming out than was before. But like, whatever. The hair thing, it's kind of really out of my control, and it's just one of those things that I'm just going to adjust to however it ends up falling. So I also have not really noticed an increase in appetite. And I'm going to use this to segue into the fact that I was dealing with headaches for like the first several weeks, well, not several, the first few weeks of T, I was dealing with these headaches that were pretty persistent from like the time I exercise, like the time I put my tea on a little off, or my tea gel on a little after I exercised in the mornings, mostly like throughout the rest of the day. They were not debilitating headaches, but they were like these minor annoying headaches. And what I ended up doing after some research was greatly increasing my water intake and my food intake. Increased that slightly. I wouldn't say like greatly increased it, but it all felt very forced because I didn't feel like my body was telling me like, hey, I'm more hungry than I was before. It has started doing that a little bit in the mornings. But I've been snacking a lot more right before bed because that was something that's helped with the headaches, I think. So I do wake up pretty hungry some days, but it's not consistent. And yeah, just in general, I thought I would get hungrier. Again, people talk about feeling like way hungrier, and I'm like, I haven't felt any difference in that. I'm still drinking about a gallon of water a day, and to me, that feels like a lot. And it's also surprising how easy it feels. And I think it's important to, for me, for whatever reason, for the headaches and things, the headaches have not been bothering me recently. So, yay. But yeah, I'm going to keep up that regime for as long as it feels beneficial. I just fill up my gallon jug in the morning and then I pour from it all day so I can have like a very tangible way to measure how much I'm drinking. Because, it's like, oh, I'll have a cup of water here, sip there. Like, then I'm going to drink this seltzer water. Like, I can't keep track of all that. So I just use this gallon. It's very visual, and I'm a very visual person, and it works perfectly well. If I drink like a seltzer water, I'll just dump that amount of water out of the gallon and attribute it as like a wash or whatever. Overall morale is really good. I feel so excited to be on tea. Like, I kind of want to tell everybody about it because I'm so excited, and I'm also terrified to tell people about it because even though I'm out publicly and I present very masculine and I've been asking for they or even sometimes he pronouns, and have kind of changed my nickname to Eli, like a more masculine nickname to me. I am still really nervous about telling people about like medical transition stuff. And that's fine. I'm just going to take my time and tell people when it feels right to me. But, um, you know, feeling the true, especially like mental changes, really justifies how important HRT treatment is for me, for other trans people. There's no, like, yeah, I don't know. People are under the impression that like it's fabricated, it's a choice, it's made up. Like, what I think is a choice, and this varies from person to person, I think the choice is how you act on it. Like, you can be trans and be in a completely unsafe situation where you literally don't have, like, you could lose your life if you acted upon it. And, from person to person, like, you might prioritize living and not putting yourself in danger to publicly proclaim your transness. I am gratefully not in that situation. However, it's still awkward and hard. And, you're up against society, you're up against transphobia. It's just difficult. So, the thing I experienced this month that I didn't expect to experience was an increase in physical dysphoria. I have not had a lot of dysphoria. I've had more euphoria. However, my chest, I'm extremely dysphoric about, and I cannot stand having like a period. But my body, I don't anticipate my body changing a ton on T besides like bulking a bit because I'm a small, athletic, thin person. And so, yeah, my body dysphoria isn't that bad. I would love, more body hair, et cetera, et cetera. That stuff would be amazing. But my head now is in this like much more masculine space. And that feels so good to me, except for the fact that when I look in the mirror, I don't see that person reflected back at me. And I think that's why the dysphoria increased, is because I'm kind of thinking like people should read me as male all of a sudden just because I've gone on T for a month. And like, that's a completely unrealistic expectation to make in the current society that we live in. And yet it's becoming really awkward and hard and annoying, the fact that I continue to be read as female. So I can see why people get really impatient for the changes. Before I went on T, I was like, hey, this is a journey. Like, it's it's the slow changes are part of the process, and like it enables you to kind of celebrate each little victory and each little change, and like that's so beautiful and fun. And I still feel that way. I also understand the urgency and the feeling of like, I just want to look like I just want to pass. I just want to look like a cis man. And that, is something that isn't achievable for every single person. So it's not my goal. Like, I'm going on T so that I can pass. I'm going on T to feel more at home in my body and more like myself. Also, I'm only a month on T, so I wouldn't expect like to have seen the potential of like what my biology can do on T for me in terms of just, passing or not. But the increase in the dysphoria of looking in the mirror and thinking like I'm going to see a more masculine version of myself, and then seeing basically what I've been seeing for many, many months now, which is me masculinizing my femininity as best I can, is just a little disheartening. Like, I actually feel like less attractive in that sense than I did before. However, I hold out great hope that like the second puberty phase is really weird and awkward for so many reasons. And like, this is one of them. And if you can like come out of that and over that hump, like you will feel amazing. And I don't know how else to describe it. And I also don't exactly know what it would feel like. And the dysphoria is not concerning for me. It was just interesting. And I was able to figure out, I think, quite quickly, like I just explained, why it's happening. So I don't take it as like a panic, as in, oh my gosh, T isn't for me. I'm doing the wrong thing. That's how I would feel if like I didn't like my voice drop. Newsflash, I am like thrilled with the like lower tones that I can reach. I think like feeling the vibrations differently in my body, like it just makes me giddy with joy. Um, if I was feeling like really freaked out by bottom growth, like that would be concerning. If I was going into this whole thing knowing that I did not want to increase my body hair at all, again, newsflash, it's like the opposite. I want more in the specific regions that T should give me more. Yay. That would be concerning. To have dysphoria where like I'm still seeing myself as a woman in the mirror and not being happy with that, that's just validating the whole transness for me. I mean, that's just saying like I feel and see someone inside myself who is just not reflected back to the rest of society yet. And like, that's fine. So I just didn't expect to feel that way because I was going around town being like, I know I look like a masculine presenting woman, and I know that's what people are reading me as. And like, I just have to deal with it. That's the way it goes. And now that I'm on T, I'm like, what do you mean I'm still a masculine presenting woman? Like, clearly I am a male or nor male presenting person or whatever. So it is what it is, and time will hopefully resolve some of that discomfort. But thanks so much for watching. I'm hoping to make more videos now that my kid is back in preschool and share more thoughts about transness, about being on T, et cetera, with you all. So yeah, bye.